This is a place human eyes don't often see, but humanity's impact here, undeniable. It is often hidden, out of sight, but not to everyone. Shane Gross spends much of his time in a place where it's easy to feel unwelcome, but he thinks of it as home and one he shares.
I try to tell long-form stories about the ocean. Sometimes it's a single frame, sometimes it's 10 or 15 pictures that try to tell a narrative story. We shouldn't have to defend why a certain species or animal deserves the right to exist on the planet. And by telling their story, by getting them out there, maybe some more people will care.
Humility. It is Shane's guide, but he's driven by an urge to protect. So consider what happens when someone so accustomed to photographing life comes to photograph death.
You know, I've spent a lot of time in the water with live turtles, and so it was depressing. There's a green turtle tangled in fishing line. To see the life in the eyes of a turtle, and then to see one where it's gone, I mean, its eyes had actually been eaten out by scavengers. That dead look, it was haunting, you know, to know that that animal was killed for no real reason. It was a complete waste. It would have suffered in its final moments. Turtles need to come up to the surface to breathe air, and so it would have been entangled in the line and tried to make it up to the surface to breathe, and it couldn't, and the turtle drowned, which must have been a horrible way to go as well. So it was emotional.
Does it make you angry?
Of course. I'm angry all the time. I'm angry when I look at a shoreline and I see plastic bottles and plastic bags, and anger in its raw form doesn't accomplish much. I try to use it as a motivation to try to inspire change.
It's a photo that still haunts Shane, a powerful image of humanity's impact on our oceans, and one that's caught the world's attention. It won an International Photography Award. But Shane knows convincing people to take conservation seriously isn't going to happen by accident. It takes meticulous planning. When Shane prepares for a shoot, he's like a watchmaker. Every piece carefully cleaned, checked, and rechecked, no detail too small. Today, Shane's packing for a shoot at a secret location on a nearby island, and he's taking me with him.
All right, so Shane, we're on Eleuthera Island in the Bahamas, but where specifically are we?
Well, we're in South Eleuthera. That's
Right.
about as specific as I'd like to get.
Why is that?
Well, if a spot gets too well known, it can scare the wildlife. It could even bring poachers in to try to take the animals out. So we want to be very careful about giving away specific locations where wildlife is abundant.
So how many people know about the spot that we're about to head to?
Maybe a few researchers, a few local fishermen. That's about it.
And it's just that way?
Yeah, straight up the beach here. We got a little bit of a trek. As you can see, it's a little bit choppy, so yeah. It'll be a fun splashy trek.
For this trip, Shane packs light. The shot he wants, clear as day in his head. It's a secluded spot where baby lemon sharks gather, away from predators and, importantly, from people.
The first time I came here, photographically, was a disaster. The sharks, I thought they would just come right into the camera and be aggressive like people think sharks are, and they would not come in anywhere close enough to the camera.
Today, we hope to have better luck.
There's one right there.
Oh yeah.
Swimming away pretty quick. When the sharks first see us, they're pretty shy. So that's why we're seeing them come in within maybe a couple meters, and then they're going off to think or do whatever they do, and then hopefully they come back.
How long could you spend out here waiting for the perfect shot?
Oh, I have spent days. Two of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken were right here. One is, it was sunset, and I tilted my camera facing straight up to the surface. a big storm came over, and the setting sun lit up the clouds beautifully right behind a lemon shark that swam directly over top of my camera. At the time, I didn't have a remote trigger, so I used my toe to actually snap the picture.
No kidding.
But I got it, and yeah, I just love it. The moments you live for, you know.
What are some of the other places like this around the area?
Well, we're pretty lucky that we have some really beautiful places. And one place that I've spent a lot of time because it's just stunning, it's called the Sapphire Blue Hole. And it's some of the clearest water you can imagine, and some really unique wildlife lives in there. But now that's changed.
So this is Sapphire Blue Hole.
This is Sapphire Blue Hole.
There is a whole ecosystem of life in there.
Yeah, so there's a couple of key species that live in here that can't live in other ecosystems where there would be large predators. So this is a closed ecosystem, which makes it quite unique and really important for those two species, the red cave shrimp and the Bahamas cave fish, which is also known as the lucifuga.
And how delicate is it to keep that balance? I mean, where are they getting their food from?
Well, I think a lot of what they depend on is organic matter that falls in to the blue hole from the surrounding trees. There's insects and the leaves themselves. I've seen the shrimp literally eating the leaves, and praying mantises and other insects that fall in.
And so this place today looks different than from the last time you were here.
Yeah, so just very recently, within the last couple of weeks, somebody had come and cut the trees around the perimeter down and put up this fence and...
This fence wasn't here before?
No. Little as 2 weeks ago, this fence wasn't here.
And when you talk about trees being, like that's what I'm seeing there, the
stumps?
stumps?
I'm stepping on one right now. There's tree stumps going 360 degrees around the blue hole. I don't know how much thought, if any, was given into what impact that's going to have on the animals. And the increase in tourist traffic could bring in unwanted chemicals like sunscreens, insect repellents, those kinds of things, which may also have a negative effect on it.
The reason Shane brought me here wasn't just to show me how the area has changed, but also to show me a photograph he took not all that long ago that he can never take again.
And the picture I was looking for was one that showed that relationship between the fish and its environment. So the fish in the foreground, and in the background was showing the opening of the blue hole with those trees overhanging the blue hole. But it's extremely fragile. You can see how small it is. Any small change could be catastrophic for the animals that live in there. There are a lot of still untouched places in the Bahamas compared to some other places in the world. But there are definitely places that have been, in my opinion, destroyed. The reason why people go to these places in the first place is for their natural beauty. And to me, when you start to mess with that, it kind of defeats its own purpose.
Shane's biggest fear? That we are recklessly, irrevocably erasing fish like the lucifuga from existence. It's only survived all these years because its caves are undisturbed. It's incredibly rare.
You know, when I do hear about people making plans to turn a beautiful natural area into a marina, I get angry. And, you know, we shouldn't have to, defend a species' right to survive on our planet. They should have that right inherently. I never understood that.
It's lonely work, but with each photograph he takes, Shane is driven to make a difference.
I just hope that it connects with people on an emotional level. We are constantly inundated with statistics and facts, and it doesn't seem to lead to any kind of change. But an emotional connection can lead to change.
Shane's recent prize, proof that people care. But the mission, that never ends.